I asked a question yesterday. I asked and I said, can any of these so called PlayStation Twitterers or pundits tell me what the benefit would be if I were to blow the dust off of my PlayStation and power it up? And you know what's actually crazy, ladies and gentlemen, is all I got was a whole bunch of very, very predictable PlayStation fanboy nonsense. Insults and all of the above, but I continued to ask them for answers to this particular question, to which they really couldn't give me. Even the people who tried and attempted to give me an answer ended up talking about Xbox games that will eventually go to PlayStation, not seeing the irony that the Xbox game dump, which I've basically put in my premise to my question, which has basically knocked PlayStation to irrelevance, is something that they're over there touting because PlayStation was always heralded as this platform that had the games. Now Xbox has got these games, and they're talking about third-party games that are skipping Xbox and all of this stuff when these so-called third-party games are now returning to Xbox. In some cases, they're Play Anywhere. Cue in Silent Hill 2. Do you remember that game that was, so exclusive to PlayStation? Yet it's a Play Anywhere title on Xbox. It's a better copy, a better version. You got two versions of the game. You also get it for less money than the PlayStation user paid at launch. This particular reality is something that we really have to point to. But something was very interesting. I won't mention any names in this video. I saw a user on Twitter say, Outer Worlds 2 went from, in quote, let us launch at $80 to, okay, we don't want to launch at $80, but instead we'll offer a 20% discount only 3 weeks after launch. Now, as I was reading the responses to this particular Twitter user, somebody said, yo, this particular discount is actually only for the Xbox user. I was like, really? Xbox is actually giving a discount for Black Friday because, again, this should not surprise you, ladies and gentlemen. They usually will give you these discounts at launch, regardless, in many cases, if you have a Game Pass subscription tier of some kind. But it was very interesting to see that the Outer Worlds 2 is in the Black Friday lineup, which is nice, and does give the Xbox user, whether you be PC or console, a discount. So even I myself, as I'm looking at the Xbox ecosystem on PC, I can already see a benefit. And it's hard for me not to tie that benefit to Xbox as the entire piece, right? Because a lot of that is kind of flowing back and forth. And to me, I think that this is a serious player on the PC. As much as we that use Steam, we like our Steam, don't get me wrong. We'll talk about how Steam is great and how many, aspects that it has. Ladies and gentlemen, we got to be real. That this particular Xbox paradigm is very, very serious. And in that seriousness, they are affording for those of us that are gamers options beyond just what the console paradigm had always offered. When I went to PlayStation's website to check the Outer Worlds 2, I did not see a sale on the game. You are not afforded that benefit at this time if you were, say, maybe a PlayStation user. Now, I would always recommend that, you go ahead and wait for as deep a sale, regardless of where you go ahead and play. But it was interesting that that user, whom I will not mention their name in this video, tried to use that as a slight to Xbox, sorry. And that's where it really kind of got me going and thinking and scratching my head and saying, man, this whole paradigm is actually very different, right? It really does change the entire game. This whole conversation about, what your platform is doing. We've grown. I don't know about some others. They can do what they want. We've kind of made our way past this paradigm where we exalted the status and the facade and the flash and the noise and all of the above. Rather, it's now on the substance and the core and the foundational pieces. Because right now, yes, if you say, and many of them are talking, we're going to play this Outer Worlds game on PlayStation as well. So what is the big deal and what is so special? Well, what is special is if you are on the Xbox ecosystem, you actually get a benefit to that Outer Worlds game. Not just one, but multiple. You can subscribe to Game Pass and play it should you not want to spend $55. Or you can buy it and get a discount compared to others at the given time. That is a benefit right there. It's a benefit for the Xbox user over PlayStation. And it's that simple. If you can't call that what it is and you have to sit there and dance around or not answer the question or insult the person who answers the question, then you're admitting that the platform that you play on is absolutely horse dung. It's not offering anything. It doesn't, it in no way, right? In no way. In fact, some of them would even answer the question in a way that tries to make it seem like, no, 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 no. You have to go ahead and sit there and worry about, Xbox actually doing the things that benefits the Xbox gamers. They really want to try and turn it around, but that's not the case. And as somebody who really am concerned about the way the gaming industry goes and the market and all the above, I say to myself, I can't take seriously a lot of these folk. What are we looking at here? Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut, $35.99. Stellar Blade, $47.99. PlayStation is doing a discount and a sale. It will do one on PlayStation, but it's very interesting that we're seeing these sales already come up. And by the way, I hope you guys know that Valve considers PlayStation a third-party developer, right? Check it out. It says this third-party event is presented by PlayStation Studios. Because it's not their platform, it's Valve's platform. They own it, they run it, and so they realize and understand that this is basically the category that they're in. Uncharted, Thieves Collection, Legacy of Thieves Collection, $16.99, $23.99. So even here now, PlayStation is offering me, a PC gamer, a benefit. So like they usually tell you, since PlayStation is going to play Xbox games, why should we then buy a PlayStation? Why should we then buy an Xbox? And I say, well, since Steam plays PlayStation games, what's going to convince the Xbox gamer to go buy themselves, a PlayStation when they'll play it on Steam and then play their games on Xbox, Xbox's PC app, and also on Steam? These are very pertinent questions. These are very pertinent realities. Rather than people jumping all around and trying to find what is not there, let's point out to where the substance is. Let's point out to where the value proposition is. We are now way past facade. That used to be the thing in the PS4 days. Ooh, you got that. Ooh, you have this. Ooh, it looks like that. But no longer. Are you gaming? Are you basically being valued for the money that you're bringing to the ecosystem? If you feel that way, then stay there. But then when you cross your ecosystem and then go ahead and say that another ecosystem is not doing things as well, you now have to go ahead and find comparative pieces. And when we compare apples to apples, pineapples to oranges, whatever comparison and measure, we don't see a benefit for the PlayStation gamer that is half, a quarter, even less of that measurement as good as what as what Xbox is giving to its own customers. This is a fact. I just showed you one, and it was from a place where the so-called PlayStation fanboy wanted to use it as another browbeating tactic against Xbox. That's what they wanted to do. I was so surprised when I saw it. I was like, what? This game already came out, and we already had access to buy it at a discount if we had Game Pass. And then someone said, actually, that particular discount is not even available to any others outside of the Xbox ecosystem at this moment in time. Thank you for watching. Comment section. Peace out.